Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at the most expensive cards that have come around in Fusion Strike. And there's a couple of reasons we need to do this. There's a couple of reasons why it's relevant at this moment. First of all, we are heading up into the release of Brilliant Stars. Pre-releases for that are going to be starting, well, by my calculations, next weekend. So it's nice to wrap up with Fusion Strike, but also because I went having a look at this, I follow this stuff quite closely, I look at this quite regularly, I'm a nerd and all that. Things are changing. The most expensive card last time we looked at Fusion Strike is not the most expensive card now that we're looking at Fusion Strike again, and I'm going to be honest with you, I find stuff like that pretty gosh darned interesting. So we might as well start off at the top with the most expensive card that was not the case last time we looked. It's Espeon VMAX. I know. An Espeon VMAX is coming in somewhere around a $90 card. And this is a little bit surprising to me because, and I'm clearly spoiling what the next couple of cards are here, but we're all expecting Mew, right? We know that Mew is a super popular Pokemon. We know that Genesect Mew is the most playable, the best deck in the game right now, and I'm not just talking about things that came around from Fusion Strike, I'm talking about the best deck in the game regardless of set. So when you take a popular Pokemon like Mew and you take something like a secret rare alternate art VMAX, which is incidentally the rarest type of card you can pull from a pack, and you add in the fact that it's hyper playable, you're kind of expecting that to be number one and sit at number one and never move. Not the case, ladies and gentlemen. Espeon's done, gone, and jumped it. Why is Espeon done, gone, and jumped it? Because people love evolutions, man. And I wish I could give you a better answer. But go and look at the video I did the other day about the most expensive full art Pokemon cards. Or when I did about the most valuable VMAX secret rare alternate arts. They're always, nowadays, those lists are just dominated. Absolutely dominated by evolutions. And that's your answer here. And don't get me wrong, right? Espeon VMAX is a decent card. The ability prevents all effective attacks on your opponent's Pokemon done to any of your Pokemon with energy attached. So damage counters, special conditions, instant KOs, things of that nature. The kind of things you may want to be preventing. And then Max Mindstorm for free energy does 60 for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. It's a decent playable card that I do expect to be featured in really good decks in the future, but the fact of the matter is, this is just, it's an evolution, and it's Espeon, who is one of, well, frankly, one of the most popular of the evolutions, and it really is that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It really is that simple. That's why it gets to number one. Now, as we go through the next couple, things do start looking a bit more like we would expect. Second most expensive card in the set, you're talking about the secret rare of Mew VMAX alternate art. It's an $80 card. And I honestly think, and I don't mean to sound rude here, and I'm really sorry if I do, I honestly think artwork plays a big part in this. Because I think if you put this side by side with Espeon VMAX, I do think Espeon has much better artwork. I have heard from a bunch of people who have basically told me, I think as far as these alternate art VMAXs go, Mew is not one of the stronger ones. And Akira Igawa has done phenomenal artwork in the Pokemon TCG for a while now. But I do think when you put the cards side by side, Espeon is just a better looking card. And I think there is a little bit of a gap between them. Because we all know that VMAX alternate arts are the rarest cards you can pull from packs. We all know that Mew's pretty gosh darn popular. And we all know that because of that phenomenal cross Fusion Strike attack, 2 colorless energy, copy one of your bench Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks, we know it's one of the very, very, very best decks in the game. Probably the best deck in the game right now. And don't get me wrong, it's still number 2 in the set. It's still an $80 card. It's still very expensive. But when you put it side by side with Espeon, it loses out. That was not the case when the set dropped. One of my thoughts here is that the competitive players have already gone and got Mew. And now it's the collectors that are starting to mop up, and they're going to be way more interested in Espeon. But I have slow rolled you just a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen, because there is another card, which is about a $90 card. It's pretty much up there with Espeon. It's Gengar. Gengar and Espeon are very much sitting up there at number one at about $90 cards. Now, I wanted to focus on Espeon at the start because I do think that is an amazing card with the artwork and all of that. But don't sleep on Gengar. Now, Gengar's got quite a lot going for it. Firstly, Gengar is another Pokemon that can rightly be called a top-tier Pokemon in terms of popularity. I think that's fair. So, that's there. And it is Salso artwork, and that artist is one of the most popular in the game. I know a bunch of people share more about artists nowadays, which I very much appreciate. But this is one of the artists who gets a lot more love than others, because the art is absolutely phenomenal. But it's also a very playable card. Fear and Panic, 2 energy, 60 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon V and GX in play. That's a really good attack. The thing is, it's not more playable than Mew. Now, it is more playable than Espeon. It's seeing a bunch more play than Espeon. It is a really good card, and I don't think that's an unfair statement to make. But the fact of the matter is, this is just a very cool card. It is a Pokemon people love, drawn by an artist that people love, with a very good attack. And that's putting it right up there with Espeon. So actually, I was being a bit cheeky. Mew actually comes in at number 3, which is, that's a bit of a change. Now, coming in at number 4 is the one you probably would expect. It's the Rainbow Rare Mew. And people don't like the Rainbow Rares as much as people like the alternate arts. I don't think that's a controversial statement. You know, I mean, if we look at Mew here, this Secret Rare is around about a $60 card, this Rainbow Rare, whereas the alternate art is an $80 card. So it's about 1/3 more again. And mechanically, they're the same card. Although incidentally, I do have to give some love to Mew. I don't think it looks as good as Chandelure. Chandelure is still the best VMAX artwork they've done, let's be clear. However, I think in terms of having a nice, clean VMAX, I really do think Mew is one of the best they've done. It's no Chandelure, let's be clear, but it's still pretty gosh darn cool. But this is more of a playability thing. People who want to bling out their decks, who might be fans of Rainbow Rares, or just don't want to be paying out for the alternate art, this makes a pretty good substitute. And then rounding out the top 5, we've got alternate art of Mew. And again, that shouldn't really surprise anyone here. This is coming in at around about a $50 card. It's Mew, it's an alternate art, and it's really, really playable. Again, if you're going to be playing that Mew VMAX deck, you're going to need to be playing Mew VMAX, but you're also going to need to be playing Mew V, and I know we did get a Mew V before. This is not the first Mew V we've ever had. Way back when, in Darkness Ablaze, we got ourselves a Mew V. New one's better, basically. People tend to want to play the new one. The old one's not bad, let's be clear. It's a decent card with a decent attack, but generally speaking, people want to be playing the new one. So, again, you've got an alternate art, you've got a popular Pokemon, you've got a very, very playable card, and that kind of helps to explain how this Mew pops into the top 5. Now, after that, we see a little bit of a drop. This Mew is $50. After that, we've got nothing that's above $30. Now, nominally, I think there are 4 other cards which are really worth talking about, but I suppose we want to make a real top 10, don't we? So, I'll give you a number 10 as well. Why not? So, these next 4 are all very much bunched together. Don't pay too much attention to the prices. They are all somewhere in the region of $25 to $30. But we've got the alternate art Inteleon VMAX. Now, this is actually kind of surprising in a way, because remember, by far the rarest cards, the hardest ones to pull from sets, are your alternate art VMAXs. They have the lowest pull rates. And we've already seen that Gengar comes in as a $90 card, Espeon comes in as a $90 card, Mew comes in as an $80 card, and then Inteleon comes in as a $30 card. Like, there's 4 alternate art VMAXs in the set, and Inteleon is not just number 4 out of 4, because that really doesn't tell the story. It is number 4 by a huge, gigantic, gaping chasm of a margin. When I say it's not even close, I mean it's not even close. And it's a lot of the reasons we've been talking about the whole time. Inteleon as a Pokemon is nowhere near as popular as Espeon, Mew, or Gengar. It's just not. It's not a Gen 1er, it's not an evolution. It's down there, I'm afraid. More popular than most as a first partner Pokemon, but it's not competing with the others. Although it looked really good and it saw early success in Japan, it's got a really nice ability, discard a water energy from your hand, place 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then 2 energy, 140 damage if you put an energy back to your hand. Saw early play in Japan and it sees a bunch of play, but it's not up there with Mew and Gengar in terms of playability, at least it's not been proven to be yet, and it's a less popular Pokemon, so it comes in at $30. Just below that, you see Genesect coming in, the alternate art version, obviously. And again, this still surprises me a little bit. This is way cheaper than I would have expected. Firstly, it's an alternate art, and they're pretty popular. But Genesect is nuts. The ability Fusion Strike system lets you draw until you have as many cards in hand as you have Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. If you've got 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play and 4 of them are Genesect, which is not that hard, especially when you're playing Genesect, you draw until you've got 6 cards in hand 4 times in your turn. Because unlike other similar cards, this is not limited to once during your turn. It is just limited to once per Genesect. And that's ridiculous! Absolutely preposterous. And it's got a really nice attack, free energy 210, but the pull rates for the alternate art Vs are just higher. And Genesect is not as popular for collectors as a card like Espeon or Mew. It's hyper playable, and it's beautiful artwork, but unfortunately with the higher pull rate and the less popular Pokemon, it was never going to jump up there. Now, what is surprising is in this second tier, your $25 to $30 cards, you've got Mew VMAX. Just regular, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill Mew VMAX. Which is up there with your alternate art Genesect and your alternate art Inteleon VMAX. Why? Well, I've been telling you all video, Mew is just that good. Mew is an over-the-top crazy good Pokemon that is dominating the tournament scene at the moment. Now, when I say dominating, I don't mean it's the only playable card. It's not the only playable card. There's plenty of good decks around at the moment. But I do think it's not a particularly controversial take to call it the best card in the game right now, or at least the best deck in the game. And the fact of the matter is, you need the VMAX to play it. And sure, this is a fair bit cheaper than either the alternate art or the Rainbow Rare. Incidentally, I do kind of love it that we've almost got 90-60-30 going on. It's kind of 80-60-30, which makes me sad, but we were pretty close. I suppose nearer 25, but that's not the point. Point is, it's almost kind of going up in nice, even increments. This is just a really good card. Mew's a popular Pokemon, but it's a regular VMAX. It is just playability that's pushing this up there. And then this second tier is rounded out by the alternate art of Celebi, and make no mistake about it, this is artwork. This is the first card on the list, which I feel really comfortable telling you is a bad card. This is not a good card. This Celebi is not a good card, it's not a playable card. No one is playing Celebi, Celebi's bad. However, this artwork is absolutely spectacular. It was a box topper promo over in Japan, and it was one of the reasons that Jet Black Poltergeist was so much more popular than Silver Lance. Not the only reason, but it certainly didn't hurt. It's just a phenomenal card. It's not a good card, it really isn't, but oh my goodness, it is a beautiful, beautiful card, and that's what puts it up there. And if we do want to round out the top 10, and I think we should, it's a little bit rude to leave it at 9 cards talked about now, isn't it? You're talking about the full art Mew V. And essentially everything I've said before holds true. It's Mew who's popular. It's the best Mew V, which is going to be very important for playing that Mew VMAX deck. Not to mention the fact it's Fusion Strike, which the other one isn't, which is a really big deal, because cards like Elisa's Radiance will only attach 2 Fusion Strike Pokemon. Genesect only draws extra cards for each Fusion Strike Pokemon on the board. Make no mistake about it, you kind of have to play this one. So, if you've got to play this to play the most popular deck, no, this isn't up there with the alternate art version of it. it's coming in at about half the price. But the fact of the matter is, it's still a full art, it's still a fancy version, it's still Mew V. What did you expect, ladies and gentlemen? What did you expect? I did not expect Mew to be pushed aside so quickly. Seeing the alternate art Mew VMAX coming in third place is weird to me, ladies and gentlemen. Genuinely weird. But that's where we are. For now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know basically anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWarsy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.